And she was like, oh, Japan, hot drinks in a vending machine is like mind-blowing. It's honestly one of the highlights of our trip. It was brilliant. A million times better, definitely. It is such a luxury. Definitely the one with a big conveyor belt.
Yeah. All right, so thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Can I please have your name and your country?
Yeah, my name's Lily and I'm from England.
From England? Nice. Where about in England?
So right up north in the Lake District.
Okay. Tell me, the weather compared, right now we're in autumn, right? In Japan.
Yes.
How is the weather compared to back home?
It's definitely, I'd say, as cold as back home. If not, maybe home slightly colder at this time.
Yes.
We're getting the dark nights and the cold weather, but it's not as rainy at home during the winter.
You don't have much rain.
We have lots of we have lots of rain.
Okay.
So it's quite nice that, like, I don't mind the cold, but it's nice that it's dry.
Okay, that's nice. So welcome to Japan.
Thank you.
Have you been doing some sightseeing since you've been here?
Yeah, I've tried my best to do a lot of sightseeing. Before I came, I made a list of everywhere I was going and everywhere I wanted to see, everywhere I wanted to eat.
Yeah.
So, and then it's nice as well to just see what you come across as well.
Right. Tell me, what are some of those key places that you put on your list?
Let's see. In Tokyo, it was definitely, I wanted to see the Shibuya crossing, Shinjuku, Tokyo Tower, definitely. I didn't go up it, but just to look at it, it's beautiful. And then also some like fun things like Disney, and then also here in Osaka, Universal as well.
Nice. So it sounds like you've been all over Japan. How long have you been staying here? How long is your trip?
I've been on a group tour for about 10 days, which has been lovely. We've been all over, and then I had a few more days in Tokyo and Osaka. So I think all in all, it's about 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
Yeah.
That's a lot of time to travel to Japan.
Yes.
What made you want to travel to Japan?
So I think my interest in Japan kind of came about when I was speaking to a flight attendant, and I basically asked her, where's the best place you've ever been? And she was like, oh, Japan. And I think she said Tokyo as well. And yeah, that kind of piqued my interest, and I was like, oh gosh, right, okay, best place ever, it must be good. Yeah. And then after that, I kind of just, it was on my radar, and I looked into it a bit more, and yeah, it just really got me excited, and it seemed so different to the UK and to kind of what we're used to. And yeah, I just was like, right, I have to visit and have to see what it's all about, really.
I'm glad you made it.
Yeah.
What was something that really moved you to, motivated you to, decide to come here? I mean, for 3 weeks, it's a long time, right?
Yes,
so there has to be one or two things that the flight attendant said or something you read that was like, well, I'm definitely going to Japan.
Definitely. I'm going to a few countries, and genuinely Japan was top of my list.
Okay.
That I was like, even if I just could do one, it would have been Japan. I think it was a combination of the culture, and even just like the little things, like the vending machines, like hot drinks in a vending machine is like mind-blowing, genuinely. And then like the food, the sushi, all the ramen, it's just, yeah, it really is my cup of tea, is the food.
I'm happy to hear that the food has been great for you.
Oh.
I'm surprised you don't have the hot vending machines back in your country because it's so cold there. Right?
Maybe we have one or two, but no, the thought of going to like a stationary vending machine and there being a load of hot drinks to choose from is really exciting.
It's convenient, right?
Oh my gosh, so convenient. Yeah, and yeah, compared to the UK, having like public transport that is like reliable and on time, we could use the train system over in the UK could use that advice.
What's the train system like back home? Is it late?
At the minute, dreadful.
Like if you're waiting at the major line, like the popular train, how late is it?
If it's running, it usually shouldn't be too late, but like I travel, being at university, away from university, I travel quite a bit, and you'd wake up on a morning and it would say your train has been cancelled or your train is delayed by an hour. And then you'd end up with like the last 4 trains have been cancelled, so then everyone is then on this next train, and it's not great.
How does that work when it comes to like work and stuff? Because here in Japan, like being punctual is so important.
Oh, definitely.
And, like, you know, if the train is late or something like that, very much you have to prove that that's the reason why you're late. Because the train is always, we value punctuality here. But what about back in London? Like, what happens when you're late? Like,
so I'm in Manchester. Yeah. I was in Manchester, and I'd have to, for university, I'd have to travel from a lot of the time from Manchester to Liverpool, which is about an hour on the train. Yes. So I'd be waking up really, really early, and all in all, it would be about a 2-hour journey for me. And the amount of times that like you'd get to the station on a morning and it's like 6 a.m, you're cold, you're tired, and then the train wouldn't be there, or it wouldn't be running, or you'd get on it and they'd say, sorry, we don't have a driver. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't have a driver? And then you'd have to do like the awful message to your boss and be like, I'm so sorry, I'm running late, but there's nothing you can do. Like if I could get there another way, I could, but it's not as simple as just getting a taxi. It's like you're going right across the country. So and I hate being late, and I feel so guilty because I want to be on time, but there's honestly just nothing you can do. So it's really, really bad when you want to be on time. So it would be great if we could have a system that's a bit more reliable.
Of course. So I guess everybody's kind of used to just the train being late or something, and they understand.
I think in London, obviously I've never lived in London, but I think it would be slightly different because they have the tube systems, and it's like every 3 minutes there's another tube, so I guess it could be a bit easy for them. But especially up north, like I complain about Manchester, but they've got like buses every few minutes as well, and they've got the trams and the trains. Where I'm from, right up north in the Lake District, like you could be waiting for a bus for ages and then it just might not come, and it's honestly your best bet is to just walk. Like we don't have, other than driving, there's no good transport.
Wow. Well, I guess just you being here in Japan then is completely like shocking.
Yes, the bullet trains and everything, they're so comfy. Like being able to lie nearly all the way back on the chairs is such a luxury. Get a few extra minutes sleeping as well.
It is something. It is I guess you know, we always think about what other things people have abroad and stuff like that.
Yes.
And you're getting to see what's on the ground here in Japan and stuff. I'm happy to hear that you're enjoying yourself and learning new things.
Oh, definitely.
You know, you mentioned that you went to a lot of different cities, and then you had a lot of food as well.
Yes.
Let's talk about food first. What was one of your favorite dishes about being here?
Oh, that is a really, really tough question. I'd maybe say some of the ramen. I think because like a lot of my friends back home were like, oh, I love ramen, like they'd have it a lot, they'd cook it, and I kind of got into it a little bit, but I didn't think I kind of had found the perfect one. I was like, oh, I'm not sure whether it's for me, if I'm being completely honest. Came here, and then I think it was my second day, I had ramen, and then I was like, oh, I see it now. I understand, yeah. It's really good, really, really good.
Do you know what type of ramen you had?
So we went out for a meal, and it was like a ramen restaurant, and there was like, I like my spicy food, so I got like a spicy one. But I don't know, it just kind of, it wasn't that it was too spicy or anything. I think maybe there just wasn't enough of it. I don't know. But then, and also I had like the instant, I had quite a lot of the instant ramen packets at home because they've become quite popular at the minute. Yeah, and to be fair, in our university house, we kind of lived off them a little bit. So we really enjoyed those ones. But we don't put all the spice packet in because it's a bit too much.
So finally you had the real ramen here in Japan. It was completely different.
And it's a million times better, definitely.
In your whole trip, how many bowls did you have?
Oh, I think I've had two or three so far, and I'm hoping to have a few more. Okay. Definitely.
Definitely, please have a couple more.
Yeah.
It's actually chilly right now, so it's perfect.
Oh yeah, it's so nice. I say, like, if you were feeling under the weather and you had that bowl of ramen, it would definitely help you out.
Yeah, I think so too. And then you said that you went to many cities, right? Out of all the cities you went to, what one was the best to you, or which was the most interesting to you?
I think Kyoto. I think it had like the perfect balance of city and then also kind of like the historic and kind of religious sides to like the shrines and everything. Yeah, it had that perfect balance, and to be surrounded by like the hills and the greenery, it was really, really lovely. Yeah, it was great.
Did you get to go to any shrines or temples while you were there?
We done the I can't remember what it was called, the gates with all the steps.
That's a Fushimi Inari Taisha.
Yes, that's the one.
Inari, right?
Fushimi Inari.
Yes.
Yeah, that was great. I can't say I went all the way to the top.
Yes.
But yeah, it was brilliant to see it all. So beautiful, getting to walk through them, and really special.
I'm glad to hear that. Did you get to do any special activities as well while you were in Kyoto?
I had done a sushi making class.
Sushi making?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about that.
Oh, I am a dreadful cook.
Okay.
Very, very bad. I think I usually burn a frozen pizza. It's not my forte. So I booked it because my friends at home, they make their own sushi and they're big into their sushi. And I was like, right, I'm gonna learn. And I just thought it would be a fun activity as well. So I wasn't expecting much from my own skills, but it was so good. The woman who taught me, it was in Kyoto. She was brilliant, so skilled, and she really took her time. And yeah, I think I done pretty well. I managed to get it all rolled up, and we done the rolled ones, and then we also done the what's it called, where the rice balls and then the fish is on top. We done nigiri, that's the one. We done all different types of those ones as well. Yeah, so I was really impressed with my own skills, and it was honestly so much fun, and getting to speak to her and the other gentleman that was there as well. It was honestly one of the highlights of our trip. It was brilliant.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. It sounds like you really had a good time getting hands-on and making your own food.
Yeah,
because you said you came here partly for the food too.
Yeah.
Do you think you can make sushi when you get back home?
I really hope so. I do think I'll have to. I got the rolling board and the chopsticks. So I really think when I get home, I'm going to have to give it a go. I've got the recipe for the rice as well, and see if I can get my friends to join me and have. I can join them in making sushi now.
Right, and maybe you could even help them make better sushi.
Yes.
You got the real experience here.
Yeah, the authentic. You know? Definitely.
That's really cool. So we've been talking a lot about, the positives and things like that. Tell me, was there anything in Japan that you thought was kind of culture shocking or confusing to you since you've been here? Was there anything that you were like, whoa?
I definitely do think it is a completely different culture to the UK, which is to be expected. And I think that's part of what makes it so exciting, is that it's so different. And I think it's hard as well when the language is completely different. It's fascinating, but you do, obviously, you want to be able to communicate, and you want to be able to talk to everyone and learn so much, but it is obviously difficult when you only know so much and you can only kind of say hello, goodbye, thank you. So yeah, definitely if I was able to, I'd love to learn a bit more Japanese. But also as well, there is a lot of people. It's very busy, especially Tokyo, certain places, Shibuya Crossing, so many people.
And that Shibuya Crossing is that busy every single day. It's not even a special event happening.
Yes.
Just a day.
Yeah. It was great to look down and see all the people, and they're so small, so many trying to cross. It was brilliant.
Do you think did you feel like your personal space was kind of invaded with all the people around?
No, I think it's one of those. No, definitely. I think it's one of those things where when there's a lot of people around, it's always going to be a bit maybe crowded. But I never felt like my personal space was invaded too much at all.
That's great. So I guess you kind of felt kind of safe in a sense, even though there was all those people.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. I think sometimes the tubes in like London can be far too crowded far too hot as well.
Yes.
Whereas the trains here, they're a bit more quiet.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually able to get a seat a lot of the time, which was nice. And yeah, a lot, you can kind of just take a second as well, which is, I feel like you can't do in places like London.
Speaking on that, like comparing Japan to London, if there's anything that you could take back from Japan, it could be food, culture, it could be the air, like anything. If you could bring something back to London, to England,
Yes.
what would you bring back?
Oh. Yeah, it would have to be the food. I
Yes.
think specifically as well for where I live, right up in the north, in terms of the variety of food we have and places to go out to eat, there is really not even just Japanese food, just good Asian food in general. To be able to bring more of that to where I live specifically would be absolutely brilliant. To be able to go out and eat sushi, you can't do that where I live.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely that would be to bring some of the food, ramen, sushi. We have it in the UK.
Yes.
Is it as good as Japan? Definitely not, but we don't have it where I am.
You'd like to, maybe you can open up the first sushi restaurant.
Definitely. The one with a big conveyor belt.
Yeah, conveyor belt sushi.
Yeah, that's the first thing I did. I arrived at the hotel, dropped my bag, and I was straight to conveyor belt sushi, and being able to do it on an iPad. Oh, brilliant.
Amazing, right? The technology there. And
Yes,
like that. Do you
definitely.
think people back home would appreciate ordering on an iPad?
Yeah, I think so. I think obviously it's lovely to have that communication and interaction, but for me, solo traveling and being tired off my flight and not being able to speak fluently to people, it was quite nice to just sit and put it on the iPad and take my time and have my headphones in and then go. And I, as bad as it sounds, I didn't speak to anyone, you know?
You're just in your own zone, enjoying the food and the vibe of the
Yeah,
situation.
definitely.
That's pretty cool.
Nice and peaceful.
Right. Now I have one last question, two questions, and we're
Yes.
done. Now you said that you do a lot of traveling, you do solo traveling as well. For you, your first trip to Japan, 3 weeks. If you're talking to your people back home and you're giving some advice, what is some advice you would give them before coming to Japan? To prepare to come to Japan, what kind of advice would you give them?
Oh, I'd definitely say that to kind of be flexible about it. So obviously I'm on a group tour. I've kind of booked my flights in and out, but it would be great to kind of have been like, oh, I love this city, I want to stay a little bit longer, or oh, this is maybe a bit too busy for me, I want to see a bit more of the countryside and be able to kind of do a few different things. But yeah, I have been able to slightly do that. I'm going to the sumo tournament tomorrow,
Nice.
which is really,
Amazing.
really impromptu, but I'm so excited for that. I can't wait.
Yeah.
And I definitely just say to kind of embrace it all, understand that it is different, but absolutely amazing. Try all the food. Yeah, just really enjoy it.
Okay, that's great advice. Do you think you'll be coming back to Japan again?
Oh, definitely, definitely. I've already said to a few of my friends, so like, I'm desperate to visit, and I'm like, I'll happily be a tour guide. I don't think I'll be as good as yourself, but I'll definitely try my best, and I will be coming back for sure.
We hope to see you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Japan, as well. I love it.
Enjoy your trip.
Thank you.
Thank you.